we'll say they could be the United States government, the Federal Reserve, wants people in the U.S. economy to stop spending. What's up, everybody? Drive Mix Game. We got a question here today from a longtime subscriber, Lucky Luke, who had written to me in the comments not that long ago. From Lucky Luke: I guess not everyone is crazy about driving the CNG hybrid. That's the Hyliion CNG hybrid. I'll talk about that in a second. We'll answer that question in a second. Then he asked, what's my opinion on a few YouTube videos out there claiming the shortage of truck drivers is all BS. That's a good question. And nobody wants to admit we're in a trucking depression since payloads remain low, but fuel prices have rocketed. Truckers refuse to work because these payload rates make no money. That's another interesting question that we can answer. And he also wrote that just doesn't make sense to me. If truckers don't work, the whole economy stops. The truckers have the leverage too, I would think. What's your opinion on this? Okay, so let's answer these questions in reverse. Okay, so the last question that you asked was, if truckers don't work, the whole economy stops. Well, that is very, very true. If all the truck drivers stopped, America would probably fall apart in about 3 days. So that is very true. Do truckers have leverage on this? Yes, they do. But because truckers are spread out and we're not all organized, you have groups like OIDA for owner-operators. But company drivers are not really on the same page or organized. In fact, a lot of truckers would agree that this is an industry where we often make fun of other truck drivers or inexperienced truck drivers, or when a trucker's having a bad day. But we usually don't work as collectively as we could or should. Now, that being said, there are companies like UPS, which are unionized, and the union makes sure that the drivers are taken care of, that they have sufficient work, and that the products that they move or the packages that they move get to where they need to be in time and in a timely manner. But all of trucking is not unionized. So, do truckers have leverage? Yes, but not enough to impact the entire industry to make drastic and significant change, in my opinion. Next question. Truckers refuse to work because payloads are low. Well, yeah. I mean, if you're an owner-operator, this doesn't really affect company drivers, but if you're an owner-operator and you can't get a load that covers your expense, basically what experienced owner-operators do is they do something called cost per mile. So they have to factor in maintenance, fuel, wear and tear, things that they need to buy on the route, time that it'll take, and then they figure out how much it costs a mile to move their truck. 1 mile. Let's say that cost is $1.50. Well, if the load wants to pay you $1.40, any experienced owner operator is not going to take that load. You want to find a load that pays you $2.25, $2.50. If your operating cost is $1.50, it has to. Now, I'm not an owner operator, so any owner operators can comment down below and give you the specifics. So, no, they're not going to take loads, and they're not going to work if they can't make money, because it's stupid. You're better off going home. Like, why work for free? That doesn't make any sense. Are we in a trucking depression because payload remains low and fuel prices have rocketed? Well, that's specific to an industry. Most of the grocery stores are supplied by dry van trailers and reefer trailers. I'm out here, we're pulling pneumatic, we're doing frac sand. This is a commodity that we take for larger oil corporations. But in terms of affecting like the American people, like why are there not groceries on my shelf? What's going on with that? That industry is mainly dry van, box trucks, reefer trailers. And the problem with that is that I think, in my opinion, and I think a lot of you would agree, is that I'm not going to say a specific entity. We'll say they could be the United States government, the Federal Reserve, wants people in the U.S. economy to stop spending money. This is my opinion, and there's a couple ways to control that because they said that inflation is high. If you raise the price of diesel, it makes planes more expensive, trucks more expensive, and all that cost gets rolled to the consumer, and then consumers don't spend as much. It also makes it harder for independent trucking companies to make a profit, and larger ones too, because the fuel cost is up. which makes moving products more expensive. Companies go out of business. This is what happens. Now, I'm saying this as someone who started driving in 2007, and I remember when the market crashed and it was very slow. And a lot of experienced truck drivers explained to me what had happened and how the fuel costs had put them out of business. This could be a way of forcing the American people to stop spending money. You raise the price of fuel, airline tickets cost more, cruises cost more, groceries cost more, your gas costs more. So it's more expensive for Americans to do anything. It's a great way to get Americans to stop spending if that is what they, whoever you think they is, are doing. That's what I think is happening. That's my opinion. So, next question from Lucky Luke. Is there a trucker shortage? No. There is a shortage of truck drivers who are willing to work for very, very low wages. And some of the larger carriers don't like that. And so they put out this narrative that there is a trucker shortage. But no, experienced company truck drivers and owner-operators know this is a business, it's a trade, where as you gain more experience, you learn how to make money, how to survive, where to go, what you need to do, where you need to live, how you need to spend, and how to find the jobs that pay you more money. For example, most guys and women, most men and women, or people who get it started in this business, start off in dry van. It's one of the lowest paying divisions of trucking. But as you advance, whether you become an owner-operator or company driver, what you want to do is you want to get more endorsement. You want to haul doubles and triples. You want to haul tankers. You want to be able to haul hazmats. You want to get passenger. Maybe you can drive a bus. And what it does is it opens up your window of opportunity to do more specialized work. Dry van is very simple. If there is ever self-driving trucks, dry van will be the first industry that it penetrates. Something like flatbed or heavy haul or propane hauling, fuel hauling chemicals will be the last industry that it penetrates. So I hope that gives you guys some insight on, is there a trucker shortage? No, there's a shortage of truckers who want to work for really, really low, crappy, it's sometimes below minimum wage rates for some of the larger carriers. Again, my opinion. So now let's talk Hyliion. The last question, or it was actually the first question that Lucky Luke asked is, drivers aren't really crazy about driving the CNG hybrid. Well, I wouldn't say that. I've driven the CNG hybrid. You guys know that. There's quite a couple drivers who have driven it too. The diesel hybrid seems to be doing much better. This is all my opinion. Everyone's opinion. This is the driver's opinion. I think the diesel hybrid is much better because it carries more fuel and it doesn't put you in a situation where you have to go out of route for fuel. Which brings me to my point in explaining the driver's main problem with the Hyliion CNG hybrid, not the diesel hybrid, the CNG hybrid. Let me explain. So as a truck driver, we're out in these big rigs that you can't stop and park everywhere, and we're working and we're trying to make as much money as we can. And what happens is that we have a place of refuge, and that place is the truck stop. Pilot, Flying J, Loves, TA, Petro, Stripes, just to name a few. And when we go there, we can take care of everything in one shot. For example, in an hour at a truck stop, I can get fuel. I can send a fax. I can get money, cash advance, or out of an ATM. I can take a shower. I can get a hot meal. I can interact with other people. You know, as truckers, we drive a lot alone, so this is a main point, to interact with other people, talk to people, see how things are going. I can grab a coffee. I can park safely and take a nap. And we as truckers use this as a time-saving method, or it's a major part of our workflow. So usually when a truck driver stops at a truck stop, we take care of everything in one shot. Coffee, fuel, shower, bathroom, food, send a fax, take money out of the bank, out of the ATM, or get a cash advance, and then we're back on the road. Now, let me explain why that's a problem for the CNG hybrid. This isn't a Detmar problem. This isn't a Hyliion problem. I'm going to explain why this is a problem for the driver at this moment of a CNG hybrid truck. And that would be any CNG hybrid truck. We're not talking specifically Hyliion. The problem is, you guys remember when I went to Freedom CNG to get fuel, it's just fuel there. There's no bathroom. There's no food. There's no ATM. There's not even a place to park my truck. So what happens is, as a CNG truck driver, you have to make an extra stop to complete your day. You have to make an extra stop for fuel. And this takes away from your work clock. As you guys know, a lot of us work on DOT, hours of service. And the more hours you have, the more money you can make. So having to go out of route is a real hindrance, because now a CNG driver has to go to the truck stop to get cash, go to the bathroom, take a shower, but can't get fuel there. So now they have to make an extra stop, and sometimes that stop is out of route, and that takes away time from your day. Also, a driver loses one of the main advantages of being a company driver, which is that you get to use whatever truck stops you're at, whatever truck stop you go to. They often have rewards cards, and these rewards cards can give a driver $30 more a month in free food, beverages, also showers. Showers here in the Midland, Odessa area cost $15, and those are usually free. You buy fuel with your company fuel card, and then you swipe your loyalty card. The company's paying for fuel, but you get the benefit of the points, the rewards points, and if you buy 50 gallons, you get a free shower. So this is another problem why it's a little bit more difficult for a driver to drive a CNG truck. Now, here at Detmar, they pay you more money. You get $300 a day guarantee, and you get paid 30% because of this inconvenience. And that's really what it is. It's just a workflow inconvenience that takes more time out of your day and makes you have to do an extra stop to get your job done. Now, there is one other problem with CNG that I noticed when I drove it, and that is the fact that you basically cannot run out. If you run out of CNG, it's going to be a tow truck coming to get you, and that is very expensive. For the trucking company, if you're a company driver and owner operator, it's very expensive. As a diesel truck driver, you can find diesel almost always within 10 miles, some form of diesel. And if you run out, I always buy like gallon jugs of water. So I keep a couple of these in the truck. And if I'm on a run where I think, oh man, I might be stretching it or pushing it, I can put some diesel in those gallon jugs for the day. And if I run out, I can pour it in the tank. Then I can have enough fuel to drive to the nearest fuel location. But you can't do that with CNG. If you run out, there's no way to put it in. There's nothing that you can do. In fact, if you ran out, like, forget about whether I had, diesel, gallons of diesel on me or not, in case I ran out. If I did run out in a diesel truck for whatever reason, a roadside mechanic can come out and bring me 3 or 4 gallons of diesel and just put it in the diesel tank. And then I'm on my way. But in a CNG truck, if you run out, it's going to be a tow. There's no way to put CNG into those tanks without being at a CNG fueling station. So in a diesel truck, when I have 3/8 of a tank, I can push it. I can let the low fuel light come on. I can run it down to 10, 12 gallons if I have to get a load done, to make more money, to make my day better, make the company more money, and then I can still make it to the fuel stop, on low fuel. On CNG, you can't take that gamble. If you have 3/8 of a tank left, you have to go get fuel, and you have to go out of route to get fuel, because if you run out, you are basically in I need to get my truck towed situation, which is basically unacceptable. So that is something that is CNG specific. That has nothing to do with Hyliion, has nothing to do with Detmar. That is just how it's going to be until the infrastructure gets better. And when there are more CNG fueling stations, you might see CNG fueling stations that have bathrooms, that have point of sales where you can buy food and snacks and get a cash advance, ATM machine, maybe even have showers. But from what I've seen driving out here, this is my experience in the CNG truck, they don't have that. So for a driver trying to make money as a company driver, in my experience, driving the diesel truck in terms of monetary gain is much, much better, because it does not disrupt my daily workflow in the way that a CNG truck does. I hope you guys all understand this. For people who are invested in Hyliion, I hope this gives you some more insight in the trucking industry. As always, I appreciate you guys liking, sharing, commenting, subscribing, hating, whatever you want to do down in the comments. And thanks to Lucky Luke. Appreciate you, man. I appreciate you always watching the videos and coming up with good questions. Again, I always want to say, guys, this is all my opinion. I've been driving trucks for 15 years, so I'm giving you what I feel about it. And of course, all of you are Hyliion investors. If you want to know about what's going on with Hyliion from the driver's perspective, not people driving the truck, but people who actually are truck drivers. You know, we can all pick up a scalpel and cut somebody, but that does not make you a surgeon. If you want the truck driver's opinion of what's going on, that's what this channel is for. There's a lot of good people who cover Hyliion, a lot of good people who cover investing. Hyliion's channel does very well covering their own products. But if you want to know what's going on in terms of truck driver interaction, this is the channel that you want to like, subscribe, and share. And I appreciate you guys always. Lucky Luke, thank you very much. I'm going to upload this video right now. Appreciate you all watching. See you soon.